recording on YouTube and Facebook. Oh, that means I got to turn on the. Oops.
Oh boy.
I got to turn on the comments.
What'd you do?
Nothing. I just got to turn on the comments.
Have you put it on Facebook yet?
Yeah, it's starting. So I'll let you look at those while I get the comments ready to go. I gotta remember how to do comments.
Have you put it on Facebook yet?
Oh boy, there's the VMix Social on view Facebook, find post. Week 14, that's it. 14, that is. Phil, you're breathing heavy.
Well, I'm old and fat, Chris. I don't know what to tell you.
People are going to be concerned if they just tune in here.
No, some people are going to be excited. Some people are going to be excited. They're like, all right, here he goes.
I need to change this to comments. There we go. All right. Oh, Mr. Chappell, good. I guess it's evening time already.
Oh, thanks for answering my phone call about an hour ago, Mr. Chappell. Appreciate it.
Don't call during business hours, Phil.
I said an hour ago. It's 5 o'clock.
No. Late hours, Wednesday. Ernesto thought you were sleeping. I knew it was coming.
Oh, I don't care. I need to get a nap in. I've been yawning since about 3 o'clock. It's a problem.
Heather's already hit me up. Are you going to stream the basketball games like you do football games? Since capacity is held at 25%, grandparents can't be there in person.
All we need are sponsors, Heather. All we need are sponsors.
Well, and it's actually still football season for us for the next 3 weeks, actually.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yep.
I forgot I have the big headphones on. Well, I kind of match Phil tonight. I can go with big headphones.
Well, if I had my regular headphones on, but you couldn't get them set up, so.
I couldn't be there. I don't know exactly what you said. I had to take a very important phone call.
I said nothing. I said nothing.
Okay. Mr. Chappell's decorating church for the festive season, and we'll get with you as soon as possible, Phil. As soon as he's done with decorating the church.
Glad he responded to somebody.
Heather, yes, that's what I was talking about. Yes, we are working on that with basketball. We're going to definitely try to get that covered. We are going to look for sponsors, but usually with basketball season, we're not able to do that until January just because we got football state championships that we're doing this weekend. We got football state championships next weekend, and then the weekend after that. So we have 3 full weeks of football, and so we're going to try my best. We are going to do the Guthrie Junior High and High School band concert. That's next Thursday at the gymnasium because the capacity. So I was just able to get that one lined up, but the goal is to do that. It just got to find workers and get all the sponsorship and all that stuff. It is a process. So, but again, just this week alone, we got the 6A1, 6A2 state championships, and then also streaming the Guthrie Kiwanis Christmas auction on Saturday morning as well. So it has been crazy. So the goal is to definitely do that. We just got to get some of the things lined up. So
you're going to be 2 places at one time Saturday.
Yeah, no, it's I'm gonna. Luckily, it's in Edmond and Guthrie. I'm gonna start off in Guthrie and make sure everything's going well with the Kiwanis auction, and be sure to. We got time before we actually start the official show here, but Guthrie Kiwanis auction. It'll be on Facebook, Guthrie News Page Facebook, Guthrie News Page YouTube. It'll be on if you live in the city of Guthrie and Cox communication customers like Phil is now, you can watch that on GTV 20. That's the City of Guthrie's channel there. So that is Saturday. Always fun to do that. And I'll be there for the beginning. It's one of those deals I like being there all day long and get to auction off items and talk to everybody. But we will be doing football games that day. So.
Hold court is what we call Holden Court. Chris Holden Court.
Jordan Leach. Yeah, I just assumed Jordan knew this week. Y'all need to stop scaring me. I swear to goodness is what Jordan says. I swear to goodness.
Oh, boy.
Pastor Josh Seabolt in his house. The Phil and Chris show.
I love Josh.
Still has it backwards there a little bit.
I love Josh.
Good to see you Lori, as well. Hello to you. Every time you see me looking up, I'm looking at the new big screen. I see the broadcast that everybody else sees, and so I got to make sure it looks good.
Chris bought a 120-inch big screen.
Yeah, there you go.
Special order that does all kinds of funky stuff. What was it, $8,000, Chris?
No. We had a coupon. We had a coupon.
Coupon.
Yeah,
a coupon.
We were able to get a really good deal on that there. So. So we're going to get started here in a little bit. It is a High School Huddle presented by Generations Church. And let's see here. Push one button and it turns over. Oh, it didn't turn comments off. What's up with that?
Did you break it?
No. Let's see. Oh. Comment. Good. Comment off. Lower third on. There we go. It's working now. So. Pastor Josh. Kind of like the old Phil and Brent show in Tulsa.
Oh,
we'll be mentioning Tulsa quite a bit on this show today, talking high school sports.
They got a different philosophy over there, evidently, in the Tulsa area.
Yeah, they do. So, okay, well, looks like everything is situated, ready to go. We're recording everywhere for the podcast. So. Got my brackets filled. We're going to talk Broken Arrow football. We're going to talk about possible replacements at Broken Arrow. Where the Broken Arrow coach go? Basketball tournaments, games, high school are underway. Will they last all season? All that good stuff. So,
what do you think?
Josh says, talk about BA.
We're going to.
Yeah, we are definitely going to talk about that. So, but yeah, if you guys have questions or comments or any cool questions, we'll definitely put them on the screen and talk about them. We got our sponsors we're going to get to here in a little bit and have a good old time. So you ready, Phil?
I'm ready.
All right. Let me get this off of here. Show begins in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Oklahoma, huddle up. It's time to go inside the High School Huddle on Hot 93.7 FM and streaming worldwide on GuthrieSportsPage.com. The High School Huddle will take you where you want to go with coaches, players, your phone calls, texts, and tweets. Join the huddle and let's talk high school sports.
It's the High School Huddle here on Guthrie News Page. So glad to have you on this Wednesday night as we get set for week number 14 of the high school football season. Week 14 means state championships, usually for a lot of schools, but not this year due to COVID-19. It is 6A state championship week for the 6A schools, and then other schools will have their state championships next week. More on that here in a little bit. Bring in my friend, my partner, Phil Nichols. And Phil, how are you on this gloomy Wednesday before the snow comes piling in?
Are we really going to get snow in our area?
I haven't seen the weather today, but I think we're going to
teasing us.
Yeah, I think if we do get any snow in this area, I think we might get a dusting, but I've seen anywhere up to a possible inch of snow, so we'll see.
Oh, okay. I talked to a guy today, said he saw 7 inches up in the north west part of the state.
Yeah.
7 to like 10 inches or something crazy like that. So
yeah, I did see that.
I'm good. I'm good though. We got out of quarantine today.
Yes. I don't know
officially.
The CDC, the White House had a briefing last night. I put in an email to Vice President Pence, and he's got a lot of email, but he slowly got back to me. But it does sound like the White House was briefed last night. But the CDC is coming out and saying with a negative test, instead of quarantine for 14 days, if you have a negative test, you can get out of quarantine with a negative test up to, is it 10 days? I think
7 to 10 days.
7 to 10 days. So
yeah, I don't know what distinguishes 7, 8, 9, or 10, but 7 to 10 days.
So that is good news. For us especially. So it is. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's been rough.
It really has. So, well, I guess the big news is state championship week, but there was some news off the field, and Broken Arrow invited their former football coach into a 9 a.m. meeting on Monday and let him know that they are going in a different direction. And, of course, the Broken Arrow coach, Coach David Alexander. Coach David Alexander was brought in 2014. Remember when in 2014, when that job, well, I guess months before the 2014 season, that job was open. Remember, Rafe Watkins was a finalist. Him and David Alexander were a finalist for that job. And BA administration chose David Alexander, who was an alum of Broken Arrow High School, who later went on to play football at Tulsa and went on to play NFL football and coach other places. But and that's what, when Rafe did not get that job, that's when Rafe accepted the Muskogee job. But 7 years later, Broken Arrow, or 5 years into his coaching era, won the one and only state championship for Broken Arrow back in 2018. I think they were 7-4 this year in this COVID season. And I think he was 60-23 in his 7 seasons at Broken Arrow. Again, their only state championship in school history back in 2018. And they let him go on Monday morning. And as you can imagine, he was shocked as we were all kind of when we found out Monday afternoon. But really no reason given out, and he said, you're not going to find a DUI, you're not going to, I didn't say anything to the wrong person, nothing's there. And actually the Broken Arrow assistant superintendent to students, personnel, whatever their fancy title is over there, agreed. There's nothing that was done bad crime wise or anything. They just, I guess it's time to go in a different direction.
Well, you and I have talked a lot about this since this announcement came out. And this is my opinion. It's a pretty sad state of affairs when you're coaching high school football. You win 70% of your games. You bring the only state championship to a team, to a school in their history. You win 2 district titles. Everything you read about this guy is that he's a stand-up guy. Everything you read about this guy is that all the players love him, and they fire him. So my hope for Broken Arrows, the new direction they go in, is they win no games. They fail miserably because they're going to do a national search. They're going to bring in some young hotshot coordinator, or they'll go get a head coach out of Arkansas or Texas or something. But they'll do a national search, and which I think is comical. Before David Alexander came there, I mean, they're acting like they're this established dominant football power, and it's still high school football. I mean, what do you win 7 out of 10 games over 7 years? You're averaging winning 7 out of 10 games you play. You win a state championship, you win 2 district titles, and you get fired.
Yeah,
I think that's pathetic.
And I don't know.
But that's
wins or losses. I mean, if you get fired over wins or losses, usually you're not very good. You're 5-6 or 6-5 or 4-6,
3-7, 2-2.
That explains itself there. But I mean, you're just 2 years removed from a state championship, and so Josh Seabolt talking about the Broken Arrow coach David Alexander probably had 25 calls so far. Coach Alexander, Bill Hastings, the great sports writer at the Tulsa World, columnist, he does a great job. Had an interview with David Alexander, and he says, I don't know where I'm going to be coaching next year, but I will be coaching. So I know Edmond Memorial was 0-10 last year. I mean, Edmond Memorial would love to have David Alexander as their head football coach. So we'll see, because there's going to be more jobs coming up opening here in a little bit. But you mentioned replacing him at Broken Arrow. Have you heard the top name?
I have not.
top name being rumored for that job, Lauren Montgomery, the head coach of the Bixby Spartans.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
I look at it this way. I look at it, both jobs pay over $100,000 at both locations.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You look at Bixby, Lauren Montgomery, they've been in all 7 state championship games. They play their state title game on Saturday night against Choctaw. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But Bixby has been in the 7 straight state championships. They won 6. I guess they've only lost 1 state championship game since they've been there. If you're Lauren Montgomery, Bixby might be a better job than Broken Arrow right now. And if it's not, there's not much difference. I think Broken Arrow will be able to pay a little bit more, but do you want to go to Broken Arrow, who just fired their coach for winning a state title 2 years ago?
Well, that's the whole thing to me is any good coach, and there's a lot of them out there, but any good coach is going to look at that and they're going to go, let's see, David Alexander, he's an alumni. He was a 2-time Missouri Valley Conference player at Tulsa. Then he played 9 years in the NFL. Then he went, and I believe it was the Jinx staff. He was on the Jinx staff, I believe. So he played under one of the greatest high school coaches in the history of Oklahoma. He coached under one of the greatest coaches in high school history. And he goes back to his old school, brings them their only state title, wins 70% of his games, and gets fired. Yeah, sign me up for that job. I'd love to have that job.
Yeah,
I mean, it's an absolute. It baffles my mind. I think this seems to me like there's a personality conflict, maybe one that he wasn't even aware of, but there was a personality conflict with somebody high up in the administration that just decided they're going to make a change to the program, and it's I don't know. Coach Alexander personally. I mean, I've never talked to the man. I don't know him. Anything I know about him is from afar or what you read, or, we do get to talk to a lot of people from around the state doing what we do on Friday nights. And so everybody I've ever heard, the only thing I've ever heard about him is that he's a stand-up good guy.
Yeah. And
so if I'm Lauren, I look around at Bixby and go, we're going to be Division I here shortly anyway.
2 years probably.
We're getting ready to win another state championship. Oh, by the way, we got the best player in the state. He's a junior, so that means we'll probably win next year because you got about 6 sophomores starting on that Bixby team. So he'll probably win a state title this year, probably win a state title next year. And then they're going to go to Division I anyway, and the second they go up to Division I, they're one of the top 2 or 3 favorites to win the state title that year in Division I. So why? I mean, he's beloved in Bixby. I mean, Bixby's not going to run him out.
Yeah,
ever.
And I think, and I think, Broken Arrow would probably be able to pay a little bit more. I mean, they are the largest school in the state, but I think Bixby
maybe.
Yeah, I think Bixby obviously knows they got to keep him, and it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
There's no shortage of cash in Bixby, Oklahoma, to keep the winningest coach they've ever had in school history. That's brought them, is it 5 state championships going for 6, or is it 4 going for 5?
No, I think it's I'll pull it up here in a second.
But a bunch of state titles, believe me, between what the school pays them and other money that could be raised through booster clubs or whatever, I guarantee you they if they want to keep him, they can keep him. I mean, they're not, they're not going to run out of cash over there anytime soon.
6A2 was started in 2014. Bixby won state in 14, 15, 16, 17. 14, 15, 16. Booker T got it in 2017. Bixby beat Stillwater in 18, 19, and they are going for another state championship on Saturday. So they've won
going
5.
For 6.
Going for 6 out of 7 years.
So I mean he's won 5 state titles. I mean,
and he was at Jinx before making the move over to he was an assistant at Jinx.
Yeah. Well, and I wonder too, what would be interesting is with Coach Blankenship, I mean, I would think Owasso would be awful interested in David Alexander as a head coach over there.
Yeah. I don't know if
when coach decides to hang it up, I'm not saying, I don't, I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot more to prove.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of done it all and is a Hall of Famer. So, I mean, it's not a lot left there on the plate for him to clean up. So,
yeah, also,
but it's just odd that in high school sports, that because I don't care, and there's going to be some parents out there that hate me when I say this. That's okay. It still comes down. You got to have athletes to win state titles. If you play with what you got. Now, obviously, Broken Arrow is the biggest school district in the state. They've got a ton of kids walking the hallways. I get all that, but it's just, I don't know. I think it's bad form. I think it's a bad precedent to set.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So David Alexander out of coaching for now. Again, more football positions will be coming up here in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. So he'll have great options. And I think it was Josh earlier who said Coach will probably has already had 25 phone calls of interest to coach their high school football team. So anyway, that is the latest up in Broken Arrow. And of course, we're up against get our first time out here, and wrong side. There we go.
Oh boy!
We are presented by our good friends over at Generations Church. Josh Seabolt and the crew over there. Sunday morning worship, and if you can't make it inside, you can always check them out online at any time. I'm sure it's all archived. Not only this, we take a look at here at their website, which is generationsguthrie.com, but also on Facebook as well. And you can catch those sermons out there. And just a great group. They've they've held many things at their church. I remember the city of Guthrie had a reception thing over there. That was a cool thing to be a part of and to watch. The food was really good over there as well. And just doing a whole bunch of good stuff out in the community. And a big thank you to Generations Church.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh and him do a great job, and most importantly, he knows it's the Phil and Chris show.
There we go. Well, we're going to take our opening time out here on the High School Huddle. We're going to kind of dig into a little bit of the games, including a game-winning field goal. We have that video. We'll let you see that as well. It was the best game I watched all season long. I know
you said that.
It was up there. It was really, really good. So we're gonna take a timeout. Since Generations Church is our title sponsor, Phil, who do you think gets the very first commercial when we go to break?
Generations Church.
Let's see what happens. I think you might be right. Take a timeout. Okay. This is the High School Huddle presented by Generations Church. Culture church that believes in being a light to our city and our region. At Generations, we don't believe that church can be put in a box. We're a church that accepts all people from all walks of life, young, old, rich, and poor, and you will feel welcome at Generations. Join us at 10 a.m. every Sunday at 2524 West Noble in Guthrie, America. You can also join us at generationsguthrie.online.church.
Today I'm sharing Golden Chick with the world. Are you ready to taste Golden Chick for the first time? 100% tenderloin, that's where the golden tenders come from, marinated for 24 hours.
It is amazing.
Then we also got the rolls, made fresh.
It feels like they were just baked.
You know why it feels that way? They were.
Every time I go, I like to get extra rolls, so I love it.
Mm-hmm. We are being kind of photobombed right now by the one and only Clucky. Have you met Clucky the chicken? Don't get too starstruck. He's just a regular guy. One taste, and you're golden. He's on Tender. That's like a chicken dating app.
Sometimes you need immediate care and can't get in to see your doctor during regular hours. With Mercy Convenient Care in Guthrie, you can walk in without an appointment and get the medical attention you need at a lower cost and with shorter waiting time than your local emergency room. The Mercy Convenient Care is located at 2919 South Division. For any concerns, call 405-282-6301. Services are provided by Mercy Hospital, Logan County. Choose Guthrie. Choose Mercy. Aspen Roofing is a family-owned roofing company with more than 20 years of experience and achievements across Oklahoma. Aspen Roofing takes pride in the personal service we provide on each job, and we strive to maintain the highest level of quality while offering our customers a reasonable price. It is our commitment to help you understand the process of getting a new roof from start to finish. Call Robbie Hudson for a free roofing estimate at 405-562-0026.
Exxon was founded by two combat-proven veterans to help businesses grow from mediocre to exceptional. We know from experience that your culture and trust throughout the organization drive superior performance. Most business owners focus on the urgent rather than the important. They are just struggling to survive. The team at Exxon helps owners identify challenges, build solutions, and focus on growth. Do you trust your team? Does your team trust you? If not, we can help. We are Exxon.
Hey, you in the third row. Yes, you. When was your last dental checkup? Dr. Louis Turney and his staff provide dental care in a fun, relaxing environment. Still not convinced? Prefer to sleep through your appointment? No problem. We can do that too. Our staff can ensure you have a relaxing experience no matter what. Got kids? Hey, so do we. Come see what all the moms are talking about. Our kid-friendly staff loves to provide care to even the tiniest of teeth. Give us a call today. We've got the whole family covered.
Give Dr. Louis Turney a call at 282-7600.
For centuries, it was a windswept prairie until the run of '89 saw settlers scramble for land and life in a newborn town as Oklahoma's territorial capital, Guthrie. Bank First is loyal to the preservation movement that reclaimed Oklahoma's first state capital. And we're loyal to the banking legacy born at the corner of First and Oklahoma streets. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
Welcome back to the High School Huddle. Join the huddle yourself and let us know your thoughts by calling our toll-free number at 1-800-897-3678 or simply tweet us by using the hashtag OKHSHuddle. Now let's get back in the huddle and talk high school sports.
Chris, you're on mute.
I don't know why that happened.
Well, I'm sure when we couldn't hear you, you were probably thanking me for my years of service and dedication to the show, and nobody heard it.
That's exactly right. The lip readers were able to get that. I think I usually come back on this shot here, and that's where the audio is supposed to go. And since it didn't have that, I was just so quick to want to talk about Generation Church, our title sponsor. Love God, love people, serve both well. So rookie mistake, my bad, and we'll
move on.
Chalk it up to experience. Accidents happen, Phil. Accidents happen. So.
That's what I've heard. Never experienced one myself. That's what I've heard.
I want to get Tina Smedley. Thank you, Tina, keeping us updated on the COVID situation. We were talking about it earlier.
Yes.
The CDC. We were all confused on the days and all that stuff. It's 7 days with a negative test or 10 days without a test instead of the 14
So we could have been out of this. We could have been out of this a week ago.
Yeah. Because we did get the test. We were negative. Got pictures and everything to prove it. Yeah. So
that was your wife's ornery.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's starting to leak out to the public there a little bit, huh?
She goes behind the little area, and Chris and I are sitting out in the waiting area. And,
yeah.
And you hear the guy go. Obviously, Sam set it up, and he goes, "No, we'll do the blood draw after we do this." And Chris immediately says, "Blood."
Well,
Chris doesn't like needles.
We were probably 7 blocks from the testing location, and I was told it was the cheek swab.
Oh yeah, it wasn't.
But 7 blocks from testing site, I was known it was the brain tickler.
Oh yeah, it was the 4-foot-long stick they stick up your nose. Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was amazing.
The real deal, but
I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
No, not at all.
Didn't like it.
But anyway, thank you, Tina. Appreciate letting us know that we can be amongst people now. Well, Phil, we can talk about the 6A1 state championship is set this weekend, 1 o'clock on Saturday at University of Central Oklahoma. We'll both be there watching that one and producing and all the video stuff for that one. But it will be Jinx taking on Edmond Santa Fe. We'll talk about that game here in just a minute. But the game I want to talk about first is the 6A2 state championship game, which will feature Choctaw and Bixby. And Bixby took down Midwest City. Had a fairly easy time with that one. Choctaw Stillwater was a fantastic game. Came down to the last play of the ball game, and it was a sophomore kicker, Phil, from 25 yards. Choctaw in the white jerseys there on your screen, and the kick is up, and it's good, and that stops Bixby Stillwater round 3 of state championship games in a row.
Yeah, we were talking off the air. This kid, when hits the game winner as time expires, the week before had missed 3 field goals in the game. And I said, that's the life of a high school kicker, right? So, and in this ball game, he made all 5 extra points, and then, of course, hits the game winner as time runs out to put him into the state championship. So I told you, I said, that kid's still floating right now. He hasn't came down yet. So
yeah, he's only a sophomore too. So you imagine the your Choctaw and the game was tied. It looked like it was going to go to overtime, but the kid drilled it, and what a fun. Choctaw's in the state championship game for the first time since 1960.
Wow.
Yeah.
Of course, Choctaw, we saw, or excuse me, they saw Bixby earlier this year when Bixby had quite a few starters out in that game with COVID related situation, and Bixby won that game when they were not at full strength, and so you got to believe that obviously they're the odds-on favorite going into that championship game this weekend. Yeah,
I mean it's truly amazing because Choctaw, the underdog to Stillwater. And but I tell you, I watched every snap of that game. It was fun to watch. And Choctaw might be better next year. They got a great quarterback, Stillwater. He's a junior. They got a kid that's headed to the University of Oklahoma, a defensive player. Their defense, of course, they went up against Stillwater, of course, which has one of the top 10 rushers of all time in the state of Oklahoma, and Quantrell Walker. And their game plan was to stop Walker. And for the most part, they did. I mean, it felt like he had like 4 yards. But, again, Quantrell Walker, if you don't watch it that close, averages almost 300 gains almost 300 yards per game, usually around 3 to 5 touchdowns a game. And it felt like he had one of his worst games that he ever had. And I kept texting you, Phil. They got him stopped. I mean, they are selling out to stop him, which was a good game plan. And he still finished. I can't remember how many yards. 29 carries, 175 yards, 3 touchdowns. But
so a career game for a lot of kids.
Yes,
is a game that we're talking about for Mr. Walker as being where they shut him down. Yeah. And that speaks to that kid's unique ability. Obviously, I don't know where he will play after high school. He'll play somewhere. But he's a special high school football player, no doubt about it.
And so I think that's the first team that Choctaw has lost to in the last 3 years that's not the name Bixby. Because it was Bixby and Stillwater in the last 2 state championships, and now Choctaw takes down Stillwater, and there's no Phil, that's just not good video.
I know. Can't help it. It happened.
But Choctaw underdogs last week. They'll be underdogs as well again this week. And they played Bixby close earlier in the season. I think it was like a 26-10, 23-11. I can't remember what the score, but it was less than 2 touchdowns. So we'll see how Choctaw knows they can play with them. And indeed they are the underdogs. But one game setting at a neutral field, you never know what happens.
No, I mean, anything can happen in games like that. I think when the game's actually played, I think you're going to see. And I've said this before, if both teams play as well as they can, Bixby will win going away, in my opinion. If Bixby plays okay, maybe they turn the ball over a couple times, Choctaw is able to capitalize on those, and they play clean, anything can happen. Choctaw can end up beating them. But I think going into it, obviously, I think most people would be penciling in Bixby to win their 6th gold ball.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm telling you, completely impressed with Choctaw's defense. And remember, we broadcasted the game last year in the state semifinals between Stillwater and Choctaw, and the game was over when the opening kickoff was going through the air.
Yeah, it was a blowout. It was an absolute blowout down were we in Yukon or Mustang?
Yukon.
That was the sandwich Nazi. night.
Oh yeah. Well, for you, I ate well. I ate well.
Whew, she was tough.
Yeah, she was. She was.
This is only for people working. I said, what do you think? I'm here just looking around?
Choctaw Bixby.
What are you doing?
Choctaw Bixby, 7 o'clock Saturday night for the 6A2 Gold Ball. 1 o'clock at UCO on Saturday will be the Jinx Trojans and the Edmond Santa Fe Wolves. Edmond Santa Fe, the first team on the west side to be in the state title game since 2016 when Norman North was able to do that, as Jinx took down Owasso in one semifinal game. And the other semifinal game, Edmond Santa Fe took down Tulsa Union. And Edmond Santa Fe started off red hot, 21-0 in the first 12, 13 minutes of the ball game. And then here comes Union, and actually Union had the ball. Edmond Santa Fe in the fourth quarter, I think it was 4th down and 1. They had it at the Union 39, I think it was, and went for it, did not get it. So Tulsa Union had like 40 yards to go. Was it to tie it or win it? Either way, but Santa Fe holds on defense and advances to the championship game. So how about Edmond Santa Fe in the finals, just a few blocks from their high school at Watson Stadium at UCO?
Pretty cool deal, you know. I mean, obviously Santa Fe's, we've been saying it for 3 or 4 weeks, probably the best shot for the west side of the state to get a state championship in the 6A division. Played a great game. You know, all these schools have athletes. I mean, they've all got kids that can go play. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, I think same thing can be said. I think Santa Fe's obviously the underdog going into that ball game. I don't think by a bunch, but I do think they're the underdog. You know, I think that's a ball game that you could go in there. It could be a really great game, you know, that's fun to watch and really competitive, or it could be a blowout. I think it could go either way. Obviously, we're all hoping for a great ball game, and we're hoping that Santa Fe is able to sneak in there and get a state title over here on the west side of the state.
Yeah. By the way, Union or Jinx have been in the state championship game, one of the two, 25 straight years. It's pretty
even in these years when they've been down.
Yeah.
You know, where they've lost 2, 3, 4 games, 5 games. You know, they've somehow managed to still, one of them's gotten into the state championship game. So it's still the East Side's game in 6A Division I. There's no doubt about it.
Well, and if I remember correctly, I'm pulling it up now. Yeah, Union started the season off 0-4. 0-4 is what they lost at Bixby, lost at Broken Arrow. Must have been coaching. Lost at Jinx, lost at Owasso. I mean, that's the schedule. I mean, that's why you play those games, so you can make these playoff runs. So when you get there, you've been there and done that. But now then they were able to get some West Side teams. Mustang, sorry, Jordan, I know you're watching, but Mustang got beat 66-10. So, but Mustang Moore, Norman North, Southmore, Enid. And then wins over another victory over Broken Arrow. 26-14, and so Edmond Santa Fe and Jinx, and
so it'll be fun. It'll be a fun game, and you know, we were at UCO today just doing preparation for the games this weekend, and it was interesting when we were there. They were getting some of the graphics up on the billboard, just testing things, and it was kind of cool to see Edmond Santa Fe's helmet up there with the Jinx helmet, and you think, yeah, that's nice. It's nice to see somebody from the west side competing for that gold ball.
Yeah, let me see here. I don't know how my screen will pull it up here. I don't know if it'll. Let me zoom in here. I don't know if you can see. Phil, sleepy time. Zoom in.
Oh,
zoom.
Dude, yeah, there it is. You got a picture.
I did. I snuck one. They let me on the field. Well,
they let you on the field?
No, they didn't let me on. It was raining. Didn't want to go.
You found my wallet today. That was
I
big
did.
Of you.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the reward. I'm sure it's in the mail. Already in the mail somewhere.
Well, I mean, it might be that 100 I'm missing that somehow miraculously fell out of my wallet. So you might just consider that the reward.
There you go. Okay. Need to take another time out because we are going to break down Class 5A football. We had a miracle finish. I don't know if it was a miracle finish, but it was quite the rally to win in overtime for one school. Another school that wears red and white. They play. I won't give it away. They're going for 5 state championships. if I say they play on the Palace on Post Road, that might give it away, but everyone knows it's the Palace on Post Road. But they cruise, and no neutral fields this year for 5A and below. We'll talk about that, all that good stuff.
It's kind of weird. Yeah.
That is weird. We'll talk about it after this. This is the High School Huddle presented by Generations Church.
Aspen Roofing is a family-owned roofing company with more than 20 years of experience and achievements across Oklahoma. Aspen Roofing takes pride in the personal service we provide on each job, and we strive to maintain the highest level of quality while offering our customers a reasonable price. It is our commitment to help you understand the process of getting a new roof from start to finish. Call Robbie Hudson for a free roofing estimate at 405-562-0026.
Exxon was founded by 2 combat-proven veterans to help businesses grow from mediocre to exceptional. We know from experience that your culture and trust throughout the organization drive superior performance. Most business owners focus on the urgent rather than the important. They are just struggling to survive. The team at Exxon helps owners identify challenges, build solutions, and focus on growth. Do you trust your team? Does your team trust you? If not, we can help. We are Exxon.
Hey, you in the third row. Yes, you. When was your last dental checkup? Dr. Louis Turney and his staff provide dental care in a fun, relaxing environment. Still not convinced? Prefer to sleep through your appointment? No problem. We can do that too. Our staff can ensure you have a relaxing experience no matter what. Got kids? Hey, so do we. Come see what all the moms are talking about. Our kid-friendly staff loves to provide care to even the tiniest of teeth. Give us a call today. We've got the whole family covered.
Give Dr. Louis Turney a call at 282-7600.
For centuries, it was a windswept prairie until the run of '89 saw settlers scramble for land and life in a newborn town as Oklahoma's territorial capital, Guthrie. Bank First is loyal to the preservation movement that reclaimed Oklahoma's first state capital. And we're loyal to the banking legacy born at the corner of First and Oklahoma streets. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
Today I'm sharing Golden Chick with the world. Are you ready to taste Golden Chick for the first time? 100% tenderloin. That's where the golden tenders come from. Marinated for 24 hours.
It is amazing.
And we also got the rolls, made fresh.
It feels like they were just baked.
You know why it feels that way? They were.
Every time I go, I like to get extra rolls, so I love it.
We are being kind of photobombed right now by the one and only Clucky. Have you met Clucky the chicken? Don't get too starstruck. He's just a regular guy. One taste, and you're golden. He's on Tender. That's like a chicken dating app.
Sometimes you need immediate care and can't get in to see your doctor during regular hours. With Mercy Convenient Care in Guthrie, you can walk in without an appointment and get the medical attention you need at a lower cost and with shorter waiting time than your local emergency room. The Mercy Convenient Care is located at 2919 South Division. For any concerns, call 405-282-6301. Services are provided by Mercy Hospital, Logan County. Choose Guthrie. Choose Mercy.
At Generations Church, we exist to love God, love people, and serve both well. We're a multi-generational, multicultural church that believes in being a light to our city and our region. At Generations, we don't believe that church can be put in a box. We're a church that accepts all people from all walks of life, young, old, rich, and poor, and you will feel welcome at Generations. Join us at 10 a.m. every Sunday at 2524 West Noble in Guthrie, America. You can also join us at generationsguthrie.online.church.
Welcome back to the High School Huddle. Join the huddle yourself and let us know your thoughts by calling our toll-free number at 1-800-897-3678 or simply tweet us by using the hashtag OKHSHuddle. Now let's get back in the huddle and talk high school sports.
It is the High School Huddle here on Guthrie News Page. Glad to have you on this Wednesday night. Phil is out tracking snow to make sure the streets are safe for all of us out there. Appreciate your support, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be posting later on whether or not we're going to have school. So.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about the school factor.
Well, yeah.
How about I just ruin and say there's school tomorrow? How about that?
Well, I mean, it's yet to be determined. We don't know what Edmond's doing.
Generations Church, proud sponsor all season long of the High School Huddle. Love God, love people, serve both well. Find them online, as I have right here, generationsguthrie.com. You can also find them on their Facebook page. Real quick, we'll keep it on the screen here. Congratulations to Sheldon Williams. Graduated Midwest City High School in 2002. Went on to play college basketball at Duke University. I've never heard of him, but he was a pretty good player over there for the Blue Devils. And I'm gonna get his numbers here real quick, Phil. 6'9", 200. See, he had was it 2 state championships, I think, at Midwest City, 2000, 2001. 6'9", 250 pounds. Went to Duke, 4-year starter. Averaged almost 19 points a game, 10 rebounds a game, almost 4 blocks per game. Got drafted in the he won back-to-back National Defensive Player of the Year awards in his final 2 seasons at Duke. Then he had a 6-year stint in the NBA after being drafted in the 5th round. But anyway, Midwest City High School retiring his basketball jersey here in a few days. So congratulations to Sheldon Williams, and he was definitely fun to watch in high school, as he was so dominant. And those Midwest City teams were really, really talented with him.
Well, it's nice to see Oklahoma kids get back and get recognized by their schools. Obviously, his career speaks for itself, and congratulations. That's a big thing. That is a big time thing. Back to high school football again. It is this would normally be the state championship week, and I pulled up my Facebook account this morning, and one of the memories. Oh boy! Or was it yesterday? Today or yesterday, and one of the memories popped up was the picture that we took of Boone Pickens Stadium from the press box in 2011 when Guthrie had won their 3rd of the 4th state titles. So, but anyway, this would normally be the state championship game week for a lot of for 5A, for 4A, for 3A. But due to COVID, everybody got into the playoffs this season, so the playoffs were extended 1 week. So it is only state semifinal action this week. And the games played last week, of course, Guthrie went on the road to Collinsville. Remember, it was, a 27-24 ball game there for a little bit, Phil, with Collinsville. Yep. And then they got 2 scores, and they went at 41-24. And Guthrie had every opportunity to make it interesting, but once they got down 2 scores, you kind of went, I don't know. Well, and I think, we've talked a lot about this. We feel like that's a game that got away. Of course, had 5 turnovers in that ball game, and that's a game Guthrie very easily could have won. I mean, I think if you play them 10 times, it's probably 5-5, 6-4, one of those deals. But the kids in Guthrie should be very proud of the year they've had. They missed out on 4 games throughout the year, and just kind of had a lot of injuries up front with some big boys in that ball game. Had 2 starting offensive linemen that didn't play. Had 2 other starters who weren't able to play because of COVID protocol. No excuses, but I'm just saying they overcame a lot of adversity on the way to what I think is a year they should be proud of. A lot of good young players coming back. Future looks bright for Guthrie football. Yeah, no doubt about that. Blue Jays lose at 41-24 as Collinsville will advance to the state semifinal and will take on the Carl Albert Titans, who really had no problem with Bishop Kelly. The score is closer than what it really was. Carl Albert won that game 36-20 in a top 5 matchup. That's usually a state semifinal game, not a quarterfinal game. But Bishop Kelly's had a great run over the last several years, but just can't get past those mighty Titans, and McGinnis got him last year as well. But Bishop Kelly also had turnover woes, and Kentrell Bazell was really, really good for Carl Albert. And J.J. Tapana, the great guy, head coach over at almost at Bixby, over at Bishop Kelly, said you can't turn the ball over in any game, much less against Carl Albert, because they take advantage of those turnovers. And Kentrell Bazell had another great game. I think 3 rushing touchdowns, caused the fumble, forced a fumble, recovered a fumble, all that good stuff. As expected, he was an interception.
I think that's what it was.
An interception.
He blocked a punt as well. That was the other thing that he did. And by the way, he's only a junior, so he'll be back next year. But so it'll be Collinsville and Carl Albert. And do note that Carl Albert will host host Collinsville in the semifinal game, because a lot of schools, neutral sites, did not want to have games at their place just because of COVID numbers and all that good stuff. So they flipped a coin between Carl Albert and Collinsville, because both won their district, so both were 1 seeds. And so Carl Albert, of course, won the coin toss. And so Carl Albert gets to
win everything else.
Yeah,
I mean,
might as well
win the coin toss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and luckily these Collinsville kids now get to play on the Palace at Post Road.
Yes. I mean, they'll get to see the lights.
That's a bucket list. That's a bucket list thing.
Absolutely. So Carl Albert, the drive for 5. Again, they continue to rock and roll there. Other side of the bracket, McGinnis really had a much easier time than I had expected over Coweta, 39-12. Yeah. Coweta had beat Bishop Kelly earlier in the year for the title, district title. Coweta did not play Collinsville, and I really thought Coweta was the better team of the 3, and maybe still I don't know how it played out, but McGinnis really no problem with the Tigers, 39-12 to win that game.
Yeah, and McGinnis, most times when they're on the field, they're going to have the best player on the field with Luke Tarman. And the young sophomore transfer in from Millwood as well. I can't recall his name, but yeah, but they're it's lining up to be yet another Carl Albert Bishop McGinnis 5A final. And so and like we've said, we said from the first second we spoke about it this year that 5A is Carl Albert's class. I mean, they are the class of 5A by a mile, in my opinion. So, but hopefully it would be fun again. I hope we have a competitive game. They've got to get these ball games out of the way this Friday and then see what happens. And then, but it's sure lining up like it'll be McGinnis and Carl Albert playing for another state championship.
Yeah, no doubt. And that will actually be the Bishop McGinnis Fighting Irish taking on McAllister, who wins in overtime, 43-41 over El Reno. Of course, El Reno had a very bad week last week with one of their defensive coaches passing away in a vehicle accident earlier in the on Monday of that last week. But Phil McAllister scores 30 unanswered points to force overtime and win overtime, and it came down to a 2-point conversion.
It's gutsy when you get into overtime, when you score the first time and you go for 2.
Yes.
And I mean, that's gutsy. I mean, that's you can either argue the coach is saying we're going to win it right here because we're exhausted, or we don't think we can stand up in multiple overtime. I mean, whatever, but whatever the reason they did it, it worked out for them. And of course, El Reno came back, scored, was not able to convert, and their season comes to an end. And the career of a great football player over in El Reno comes to an end as well at high school level, with Plumlee playing his last game for El Reno.
Yeah, absolutely. So your Final Four in 5A football, McAllister will be playing at McGinnis. McGinnis was the 2 seed. McAllister was a 3 seed. So therefore the higher seed gets the host, which is Bishop McGinnis. And the other side, Carl Albert and Collinsville. And oh my, could it be another Carl Albert McGinnis, another 5A2 showdown in the state championship game? It looks like it right now on a Wednesday night.
Yeah. I mean, that's what every indication's pointing towards. But weird things happen. I mean, I think I didn't think Choctaw was going to beat Stillwater last week. I didn't think Owasso was going to get upset. I don't know if we're going to get to 4A tonight or not, but I didn't think Cushing was going to knock off another undefeated team.
Yeah, we're talking Cushing here next segment.
Like they did last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So anything can happen. Anything can happen. But I think if there's a class of football where the 2 best teams kind of stand out, I think it's probably 5A. So Carl Albert is the 5A version of 6A2's Bixby. And, really all year, McGinnis has kind of been the Stillwater. Now, Stillwater lost, which plays into what we're talking about. But so it could happen. I do think if there's going to be an upset in either one of those games, it would be the McGinnis game. I just don't give Collinsville much of a chance at all to beat Carl Albert.
Outside of Ben Harris.
Yeah, just something crazy. Yeah. It's going to have to be something crazy, 5, 6, 7 turnovers, and I mean, it's just going to be a crazy deal, but it could happen. I just don't think it will.
Yeah, and so that is the Final Four in 5A football. We're up against our final timeout on the show here tonight. We are going to definitely talk 4A football. We're going to try to go through all the 4A, 3A, 2A. We might go a little bit quicker than we spent already, but definitely something to talk about. And if anybody else wants to pop in on here and ask some questions or go back and forth, we're glad to do that as well. We're going to take our final timeout. Again, we are brought to you by each and every week by our good friends at Generations Church, the title sponsor here on the High School Huddle. And a big thank you, not only them, but all of our wonderful sponsors. As you hear their commercials, a big thank you for them for their support all season long. And the numbers have been good this year, Phil, on the broadcast. And we don't know radio numbers. We never know radio numbers, but podcast
I know from the
numbers.
text message. I know from the text messages I get from people that I know in Enid and Stillwater and Perkins and Cushing and all over that there's quite a few folks listening because I get critiqued on a regular basis. So it's so I don't know who's giving out my cell number, Chris Evans, but somebody has.
Just a reminder, someone's always watching, Phil. Someone's always watching.
That's right.
I got to fix your screen. There you go.
Oh,
All right, take our final timeout. Come back, maybe talk with you as well. Leave your questions, comments. We'll talk about that as well. Take a look at some of the other classes as they get ready for the state semifinals as well. Final timeout. This is the High School Huddle presented by Generations Church.
At Generations Church, we exist to love God, love people, and serve both well. We're a multi-generational, multicultural church that believes in being a light to our city and our region. At Generations, we don't believe that church can be put in a box. We're a church that accepts all people from all walks of life, young, old, rich, and poor, and you will feel welcome at Generations. Join us at 10 a.m. every Sunday at 2524 West Noble in Guthrie, America. You can also join us at generationsguthrie.online.church.
Hey, you in the third row. Yes, you. When was your last dental checkup? Dr. Lewis Turney and his staff provide dental care in a fun, relaxing environment. Still not convinced? Prefer to sleep through your appointment? No problem. We can do that too. Our staff can ensure you have a relaxing experience no matter what. Got kids? Hey, so do we. Come see what all the moms are talking about. Our kid-friendly staff loves to provide care to even the tiniest of teeth. Give us a call today. We've got the whole family covered.
Give Dr. Lewis Turney a call at 282-7600.
For centuries, it was a windswept prairie until the run of '89 saw settlers scramble for land and life in a newborn town as Oklahoma's territorial capital, Guthrie. Bank First is loyal to the preservation movement that reclaimed Oklahoma's first state capital. And we're loyal to the banking legacy born at the corner of First and Oklahoma streets. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
Today I'm sharing Golden Chick with the world. Are you ready to taste Golden Chick for the first time? 100% tenderloin, that's where the golden tenders come from. Marinated for 24 hours.
It is amazing.
Then we also got the rolls, made fresh.
It feels like they were just baked.
You know why it feels that way? They were.
Every time I go, I like to get extra rolls, so I love it.
We are being kind of photobombed right now by the one and only Clucky. Have you met Clucky the chicken? Don't get too starstruck. He's just a regular guy. One taste, and you're golden. He's on Tender. That's like a chicken dating app.
Sometimes you need immediate care and can't get in to see your doctor during regular hours. With Mercy Convenient Care in Guthrie, you can walk in without an appointment and get the medical attention you need at a lower cost and with shorter waiting time than your local emergency room. The Mercy Convenient Care is located at 2919 South Division. For any concerns, call 405-282-6301. Services are provided by Mercy Hospital, Logan County. Choose Guthrie. Choose Mercy. Aspen Roofing is a family-owned roofing company with more than 20 years of experience and achievements across Oklahoma. Aspen Roofing takes pride in the personal service we provide on each job, and we strive to maintain the highest level of quality while offering our customers a reasonable price. It is our commitment to help you understand the process of getting a new roof from start to finish. Call Robbie Hudson for a free roofing estimate at 405-562-0026.
Exxon was founded by two combat-proven veterans to help businesses grow from mediocre to exceptional. We know from experience that your culture and trust throughout the organization drive superior performance. Most business owners focus on the urgent rather than the important. They are just struggling to survive. The team at Exxon helps owners identify challenges, build solutions, and focus on growth. Do you trust your team? Does your team trust you? If not, we can help. We are Exxon.
Welcome back to the High School Huddle. Join the huddle yourself and let us know your thoughts by calling our toll-free number at 1-800-897-3678 or simply tweet us by using the hashtag OKHSHuddle. Now let's get back in the huddle and talk high school sports.
Final segment here on the High School Huddle. Glad to have you on board on this Wednesday night, along with Phil Nichols, Chris Evans with you as we are talking high school football. Appreciate all the comments out there as well. Again, Ernesto saying go Wolves. Edmond Santa Fe in the state championship game. I think, Phil, it was 2003 Jinx and Edmond Santa Fe played for the state championship. Of course, we all know how that game turned out. But, so rematch of the 03 title game. I didn't put Ernesto's comment on there. I apologize, Ernesto. There it is. Go Wolves. And, Phil, I think you might have one of your fans out there. And howdy, fellows. Boy. My long-lost cousin and my brother keep fighting the good fight. Brian Evans. Or is that me?
I don't know. I know two Brian Evans. And I don't know which one it is.
There you go. Well, can you see the does the
what's
icon?
it say?
It just
something bar and grill.
I don't know.
Well, if it's involving a bar and it's the two guys I know, that could be either one of them. So it could be one of my two guys.
There you go. High School Huddle presented by Generations Church. Final segment here. Real quick, take a look at Class 4A football and the Cushing Tigers. The talk of 4A football, maybe the talk of the entire state right now.
Yeah.
Cushing, a couple weeks, took down Weatherford 34-30 at Weatherford. Remember, Weatherford was in the state championship last year, lost to Poto over at UCO. Of course, Weatherford led by head coach Reagan Roof, and Weatherford had one of the top players in the state of Oklahoma, and Ethan Downs. And, eliminate them. And then they go on the road and take down Hilldale. Another team. Hilldale only lost one game all season. Cushing wins that game 34-28. So if Cushing scores 34 points this week, that's the magic number for them. Their two upset wins have been 34 points scored. We'll see how real it really is this week. If they win it, then I would pick Cushing to beat Jinx, Owasso, and Broken Arrow, those teams combined, because they take on the Wagner Bulldogs, who are the number one team in 4A, been there all season long. They have been a powerhouse for I've lost track of how many years it's been now, but they've had one of the longest runs. Guthrie went on those runs, Union, Jinx, Carl Wagner is up there with these programs who've gone on these runs. So Cushing, and by the way, Cushing has to go to Wagner. So it just makes up for another great, another possible success story.
Well, what'd be cool is we're sitting there Friday night watching whatever games we decide to watch, and we look at Squirtle and see Cushing wins. I mean, because every year there's a team that catches that saying lightning in a bottle, and it sure seems to be Cushing this year. So what a great story for Cushing, for the community, for the kids over there, and I wish them luck. Obviously a tall task with facing Wagner this week, but man, they're on a roll, so who knows?
Absolutely. Hey, Phil, we're going to have to take a timeout from high school football. I have breaking news.
Oh, boy. Tiger King's been pardoned.
No.
Dadgummit.
We're going to go to the NBA. Breaking news. Phil, it's a family show.
Well, I didn't say anything bad. I just don't care about the NBA.
I'm just saying it ahead of time. By the way, do you like the breaking news? Sound clip?
I do like that. Yeah, I do. I think it's quite nice.
The Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets. Hold on, let me fix my phone. The Houston Rockets have agreed to trade Russell Westbrook for John Wall and a first-round pick. So Russell Westbrook going to Washington. John Wall coming point guard for point guard, basically. So John Wall would be playing with James Harden, the Beard. So there's your breaking news in NBA right here on the Huddle.
Yeah, that's great. Good for them.
I do have an answer.
Hopefully, it goes out of business.
Brian Evans, it's the
Eureka one. Yeah,
it's the Eureka one. Yes,
my boy. Yeah, Big B. Hey, Brian, good to see you, bud. Brian is one of my oldest friends. There's a group of us, as you know, Chris, that take a little excursion.
Oh, yeah, the South Carolina, the Lake Boys. Yeah.
The Lake Boys.
Yeah.
The Lake Boys. And, it's he lives in Houston and is a very successful business down there, great father and great friend and brother and son. And just a good guy, Brian Evans. And you're right up Brian's alley because his business is in technology.
Okay.
And he's a freaking genius. Anytime Brian talks, I always get a headache. So it's he's for a couple reasons, but Brian's one of the good guys, and he's a big Houston sports guy. So anything has to do with Houston. So your breaking news matters. It matters to Brian. I promise you. Yeah, it matters to Brian.
There you go.
Great to hear from you, B.
Awesome. Very cool. Cushing's at Wagner. The other 4A state semifinal I want to get to real quick. Clinton at Blanchard. Those teams have been in these situations for a long, long time. So you got three powerhouses in the 4A state semifinals this week: Wagner, Blanchard, and Clinton. So Clinton's at Blanchard, and Cushing is at Wagner for 4A football. Real quick, Class 3A football. Heritage Hall, it's the private school bowl. Heritage Hall at Lincoln Christian in one semifinal. The other semifinal is Kingston at Holland Hall. Holland Hall took it to Kingfisher 51-21, and really that game wasn't even that close. Still quarterfinal action in Class 2A football. OCS is at Eufaula. Marlowe is at Metro Christian. Metro Christian, number one team in 2A football, favored to get back to the championship games. The Ryan Cotting Fighting Beggs Demons will host Frederick. Beggs defeated Keys 52-14, and Washington is at Adair. Those are quarterfinal games in Class 2A football. Again, A and 2A their state title games will be not this week, not next week, but the week after that. Whatever. That's December 19th. There you go, December 19th.
December 19th, and we love doing small ball. I mean, those are fun games because the entire town show up. For now, it'll probably look different this year. Who knows? But it's, when you call those, it's awesome because, I mean, literally the entire town is there, and it's an incredible atmosphere.
Yeah, last year we got to see Ringling and Cashion, which we very well could see in Class A football as they are still around. And speaking of Class A football, Pawnee will be at Thomas. Thomas, another team that can sneak in there. We'll see. Morrison is at Ringling. These are quarterfinal games. Moreland at Pawhuska. And then Woodland is at Cashion this week. So those are 8 good football teams in Class A. We'll have a Final Four after Friday night. But I certainly think Ringling and Thomas will meet up in one semifinal, and I would certainly think Cashion and Pawhuska would meet up in the other one there. Pawhuska 58-0 over Warner one week, and then I think that's their only playoff game before they took down Moreland. Of course, Moreland was the team who beat Crescent to end their season. So that is your Class A football. Let's just go ahead and get out here real quick. Class B football. Davenport at Laverne. Pioneer at Velma Elma. Mascot for Velma Elma?
Velma Elma Fighting Owls. Dadgummit.
One more guess?
The Velma Elma Wildcats.
Comets. You're close.
Comets?
That's why I brought it up.
Who in the daylight sat around and said, you know what? Let's call ourselves the Comets.
Velma Elma Comets.
Why would they do that?
I got to fact check myself.
Coolest mascot ever. Coolest mascot name ever.
Blue Jays.
What?
Come on. I didn't know. I don't know who's keeping notes.
Going with the Tornadoes.
The Red Tornadoes?
Well, yeah. Is there any other kind?
Oh, Texas Tornadoes.
Oh, here we go.
Blowing me.
You can always tie it back to your boy. That's the problem.
Well, I just want to confirm on my Velma Elma. I'm pretty sure they're the Comets. I'm almost certain they're the Comets. I just want to make sure. I don't want to be wrong. And Velma Elma Comets. There they are. Okay. Balco is at Dewar. That's
so
Class B.
You were guessing? Whoa. You were guessing?
How can I guess? I was just double checking.
Oh, okay.
And Shattuck at Regent Prep. Those are your Class B games. Class C football games. Semifinal action. Timberlake is at Buffalo. You want to go to Buffalo? Watch Class C. Timberlake at Buffalo?
Nope.
Be a nice 7-hour drive. Tyrone is at Mount View Godibo.
Oh, not go to Godibo just because the name's Godibo.
Man, those are some tornado happening towns right there.
That's one of the greatest names in the history of names, Goaty Bow. What's their mascot, Christopher?
Mountain View Goaty Bow? I don't know.
Oh. I'm going to go with the Goaty Bow Bulldogs.
Let me give me 1 second.
Bulldogs.
Here.
Bulldogs.
Nah. They sound like, not the Falcons. Mountain View Goaty Bow. Here we go.
Please be the Bulldogs. Please be the Bulldogs.
I'm almost there. Boy, they're toward the end of the back. Of course, they're Class C, so they're going to be at the back. Does anybody know? Anybody know before I say it? No one's saying? Ryan Cotting's still talking about Beggs football. Okay.
Imagine that.
233, Mountain View Goaty Bow. What'd you say, Phil?
Bulldogs.
It's one of the popular ones. Keep going.
Wildcats. I'm over it.
Tigers. All right. I had one other one. I saw Luke Young on here. State championship predictions. Phil and I, we're not sure if we're calling what games we're calling, so it wouldn't be. I don't think it would be good for us to do that. We are not calling the 6A state championship games. We're only producing them this year. So
we can do those.
We can do 6A. We can definitely do that. By the way, the call of those games will be JD Northcutt, radio buddy out of Moore, and Mark Rogers. Mark Rogers with Sports Animal. So it'll be JD and Mark with the 6A calls on the broadcast, and we'll be trying to put all the cameras and graphics all together for them, all the replays for them, and have fun doing that. 6A state championship, Phil, Jinx, and Edmond Santa Fe. The Tulsa World.
My heart.
I should interrupt you real quick. The Tulsa World's picking Jinx. Tulsa World's picking Jinx to win 245-1.
Right, and I just want to go on record that I've officially decided that I hate everything about Tulsa. No, I'm joking, but I want Edmond Santa Fe to win that game. Being a West Side school, I mean, I want that. If I just look at the teams, though, I got to go with Jinx.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I'm gonna pull up here real quick. I'm gonna make sure Jinx and you know what? That's right. Jinx and Evans Santa Fe were supposed to play back in October. Game got canceled. So it comes back there. So I really don't have a rooting interest either way.
Right,
for me.
I don't either.
Yeah. But it would be nice for the West Side team to bring one. Again, the West Side team has not won one state championship since 1995 when Midwest City had won that one. So, and then a 6A2 game.
Wait, was that a prediction?
Oh, what was my prediction? I can't remember what I said.
Kenny, you said nothing, like you always do when it comes down to predictions. You tiptoe around them.
Maybe we need to just rewind and see what I said. I don't know. I can't remember who I picked.
Go on.
Okay. 6A2, man, Bixby is the best team I've seen all season long in person on ESPN, on the computer. Braylon
Best player in the state.
Braylon Presley's my player of the year in the state of Oklahoma. It's not even close. His offers continue to rise and rise and rise and rise. I think he got Arkansas this week. Of course, I helped him get the scholarship offer to Tulsa.
Oh, absolutely.
After I called Tulsa out, they watched the show and said, you know what? Chris is probably right on this one. Let's offer Braylon Presley, who's 2 miles from our stadium. I don't know what took so long.
Had never heard of him.
Yeah. I was on ESPN. Oh, okay. Now, let's Bixby. Never heard of Bixby, Oklahoma. Okay.
Yeah.
But man, watching Choctaw, it was so easy to root for them. Not necessarily root for them. You can see why people root for them. There's just their coach is energetic. The kids were playing well against Stillwater, and so it was fun watching them play football. And it's going to be interesting to see them how they go up against Bixby again, who's I don't know, a big favorite, but they are definitely the favorite with the best player on there. Teams who have won it early, and they won 5 of the last 6 state championships, going for number 6 out of the last 7. Everything points toward Bixby, but everything pointed towards Stillwater last week to beat Choctaw too.
So there goes another one of Chris's predictions. He talks and he doesn't name a team. It's every time, Evans. Every time.
Well, how about this? Ernesto picks Santa Fe to win 28-24.
I appreciate that. Ernesto's a stand-up guy.
That would be a great game. Hope you, and Choctaw. Ooh, Ernesto's going with Choctaw over Bixby, 30-28. If Braylon Presley only has 4 touchdowns, stop the presses, and there's going to be like 4 parades in Choctaw if Bixby only scores 28 points.
Well, and by the way, they got a quarterback that's thrown over 100 touchdown passes in his career also. So
yeah,
pretty good. He's pretty good. Yeah. So you're not making a pick? Is that what I'm hearing?
Hold on. Now Ernesto's got my. Bixby has had games where they have not scored that many. I'm gonna pull it up here real quick before we sign off here for the night. Let's see here, 682 Bixby. Pull up Bixby. Bixby this year has scored 34 against Union, 42 against Jinx, 74 against Bartlesville, 56 against Carl Albert. Choctaw. They only got 24 points against Choctaw back on October 9th, 51 against Sand Springs, 59 against Ponca, 70 against Booker T, 63 against Dell City, 49 last week against Midwest City. So it looks like Choctaw has the formula to keep them in that scoring range that Ernesto's picking. And it's a state championship game. I think I've seen Bixby put a lot of points on a lot, so it'll be interesting.
I will do the opposite of Chris and tell you that I think Bixby wins by 3 touchdowns. I think Bixby comes in and puts an absolute knot on Choctaw. I think, you got to remember when they played earlier in the year, Bixby was missing several starters.
I don't know several, but they were missing.
Well,
they were missing.
I mean, there is. I will grow hair from like the middle of my head back, and I won't shave my head for a year if Bixby gets beat in this game.
Phil,
and that's a bad look, Chris. That's a bad look.
A little ceiling start.
Oh, it's a bad look. Oh, it's a bad look.
Choctaw's defense was pretty fun to watch last week.
I know that. I'm telling you, Bixby will win this game.
Right, and you're right. And here's the big difference. And as I was watching this game with Choctaw, with the difference between Stillwater and Bixby, Quantrell Walker is going to line up at running back, and they're going to give him the ball. Braylon Presley can line up anywhere on the field. I mean, he can stretch you out. So that box, Choctaw was putting 7-8 guys in the box and then creeping a ninth guy down. With Presley, you spread him out on the other side, and now the entire defense is spread out. So that's one big advantage that Bixby has that Stillwater does not have.
Well, the other thing, remember about the Presley kid too, is he's going to return punts, and you put him back there. I mean, what they're going to have to account for the special teams in the state title game as well. I just, barring Presley getting hurt on the opening play of the game, he is, to me, there is nobody even close to him as the player of the year in the state of Oklahoma. I think he is a big time football player. And I just don't see any way Bixby loses this ball game. And not only that, it's not just the Presley kid. It's not just the quarterback that's thrown over 100 touchdown passes. They got a kid playing a wideout that's a sophomore that's 6'5", weighs about 215. This is his first year back since junior high playing football. He's this big. He might end up being the most accomplished kid when you look into college, because that kid's got nothing but upside.
Right.
I mean, they're loaded. They're absolutely loaded on both sides, on all 3 phases of the game. So
you never mentioned
your
favorite player, the defensive lineman.
Billy Bob. Yeah. The roller kid is fun to watch. Got a big motor, and he's a big bodied guy. And I know his uncles and dad, and they're, there's some crazy cats, but at the end of the day, I just don't know. I know Choctaw's got some really good players. I know they've got a good defense. I don't see any way they can account for all of the studs, because honestly, if Stillwater was in this game, I'd be picking Bixby to win by 3 touchdowns against them. I think they're just that much better than everybody else in 6A2.
Yeah, well, how about in the entire state? I mean, I
think they are the best team in the state of Oklahoma.
They've already beat Union. They've already beat Jinx. They've already beat Carl Albert.
Carl Albert had lost. Carl Albert was like something stupid, like 52 out of 53 going into that game.
Right.
And they looked like a JV team against Bixby. I mean, they could not do anything against Bixby. I mean, we saw that one from the sidelines. We were on the sidelines at that game. And I'm telling you, Bixby is an amazing high school football team.
And Phil, you look at it, you look at these games, and I've always kind of known this, but when Guthrie was going through their run, and we had front row seats to that entire run for those several years, I mean, I went at high level, high championship level. Yeah. This year, at a lot of these games, like in 6A football, Jinx has been there. Everyone roots against Jinx, no matter who it is. And now you have Edmond Santa Fe. You're rooting for the West Side team. You're rooting for someone out besides Jinx or Union to win it. So you have like the underdog Evans Santa Fe. You have Choctaw. People get tired of watching Bixby win it every single. There's a lot of people who don't like watching Bixby win it every single year. Now you have the super underdog Choctaw with that. So and then you look at it this year, Carl Albert. Everyone gets tired of watching Carl Albert win. So you have like a team that's Collinsville, who's won 75% of their games over the last six or 7 years. Got a new offensive coordinator this year, and then McAllister was. Had a great program. Then it went down. I mean, 0 wins to 1 win a year. They have come back. They're the kind of Cinderella story in 5A, going up against McGinnis, who's been in all these state championship games. So you have a lot of underdogs and a lot of people who are looking for different winners. That's just the nature of when Guthrie was winning every game. There was people wanting to see Guthrie get beat. It's just how it is. Yeah.
Sure, and I get all that, and I'm not saying that I think it'd be great for Oklahoma high school football if Choctaw did beat Bixby. I think that'd be wonderful. I don't have any skin in this game. I have no relationship to Bixby. I just honestly think they're better than everybody else. When you could go into Carl Albert, who's a team that we know very, very well, that we've watched you've watched them your entire life, right, against the Blue Jays. And we know how good they are. And they were completely dismantled.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
I mean, physically dismantled. And they lost every phase of the game. Bixby was superior, not just a little better. They were superior in every phase of the game. That's what sold me on Bixby. I mean, and then to go out on ESPN and beat a Booker T team that has athletes everywhere.
Yep.
They put 70 points on a Booker T team that I guarantee if you take a snapshot of the 22 starters on offense and defense, there'll be at least 5 kids on that Booker T team that play Division I football that were on that field. I guarantee. I guarantee you there will be.
Well, Booker T
they absolutely embarrassed Booker T on national TV. They're that good.
It looks like me on Thanksgiving Day, not this year, but years past, me running the football against the 8-9-year-olds. Against those top performing teams like Carl Albert and Booker T. Washington.
Well, listen, I don't want to turn this into the Bixby show, but that ball game against Carl Albert, you remember their defensive line?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Ernesto, I had to put the comment on.
What's he say? What's he say? I can't read it.
You need your glasses. You're definitely not going to
have a relationship with Bixby once that hair starts growing.
Choctaw, I'm telling you, Phil. I don't know if they can win it, but man, I make it a game. Make it a game.
Well, I don't want to grow my hair, so I can tell you that's how confident I am. I mean, I truly do not for a second think Bixby's going to lose this game, and I'm getting scared by the second realizing I opened my mouth again.
Yeah.
But it really, hey, now I got a reason to really get excited about the game, right?
I just want to see Choctaw opening kickoff. Choctaw goes 95 yards and goes up 7-0 just to see you squirm a little bit.
I'm going to go buy a comb. If that happens. It won't have to be a very big one with what I got left up there, but I'll go buy one. No, their defensive line, you just look at their D line, Chris. I mean, you remember them. I mean, it looked like a small college defensive line. I mean, these kids didn't look like high school football players.
Yeah.
They just didn't look like them. I mean, how many high school teams wide receivers are 6'5", 215, 6'3", 210 that can run and that can catch and that can block? I mean, it's crazy.
And a lot of times they're singled up by one guy trying to cover them because there's guys that got tracked. Presley, Choctaw does have a Division I kid that they that's going to the University of Oklahoma that can probably line up and compete. I know
Yeah,
can compete.
yeah, absolutely.
But then Presley, I mean, he makes these 60-yard runs where people are falling like in open air. I mean, they just fall within 5 yards.
Do you remember there was a run against Carl Albert on the Bixby sideline?
There's a bunch of them, but yeah.
But the one that stood out to me is he's going full speed. Literally full speed.
I was ready. I was in tackle form. I was ready to go on the sideline.
There are 3 Titans broke down right there. He never decelerates. I mean, he never slows down, and he's got a way of setting tacklers up with I guess his eyes and his head, and he just gives himself that space, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, next thing you know, he's 5 yards past him, and there's nobody in front of him, and he is an amazing football player. I mean, he's a kid that, quite frankly, at the college level could play running back, play wide receiver. I mean, he can play a lot of places. I mean, he's a special football player.
Well,
so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
He'll probably go out and carry the ball 28 times, have 42 yards. They'll get beat 38-10, and you guys will have to look at my ugly mug with half a head of hair for the next year.
Ryan just wants a little sweat, from you, just a little bit of sweat. So it'll be fun. Of course, the games are at University of Central Oklahoma, 1:00 game for the Santa Fe Union game, and the 7:00 game will be Bixby and Choctaw. You can catch those on the NFHS network. Is where those games will be broadcasted, and I think UCO is having a capacity of 6,000. In attendance. I think each school got 2,500 tickets each, and then there's some other tickets that you can get, but I think they're trying to sell all the tickets before the game, but I know the capacity is going to be at 6,000 over at Wantland Stadium, which is a great place. Again, it wasn't a sellout. There were still seats last year when there was no COVID going around, and so but it will be limited to 6,000 capacity this year. But anyway, that will be plenty of fans in there, and there will be social distancing. There's already things that marked off where you can't sit and all that good stuff. So it'll be fun.
So just for the record, you're going with Choctaw with the upset over Bixby.
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
I hope the officials get every call right. I hope there's a great call of the game, and I hope our camera operators are in the right spots at the right times to capture the gold ball being lifted in the air. I'll be there at the end. I won't be crying. I won't be yelling. I'll be there at the end. So just hopefully.
And you just want both sides to have fun, right?
Have fun. I mean, both teams are going to get both teams are going to get a trophy. One's gold, one's silver. Everyone's going home.
Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets a trophy.
All right. Well, we need to get out of here. A big thank you to everybody for tuning in. Always entertaining here on the. I don't know how long we've even gone, Phil. We've been recording for an hour 27, so we've gone over our time limit again. It gets fun this time of year, though. So big thank you to all of our sponsors. We'll be back next week with the High School Huddle, and maybe before that we might have an open mic podcast. By the way, if you want to subscribe to podcasts, if you're into podcast, subscribe to Guthrie News page, and also Open Mic. Phil and I have those there, and so you can download those podcasts, and like this will be uploaded to those podcasts if you don't want to watch our mugs on the video. Or if you just rather listen to it, you can do that as well. So invite you to download those. Final thoughts, Phil?
Good stuff.
Right.
Well, this is my favorite time of year. It's a weird year, but it's still my favorite time of year. There's nothing better than high school football when it gets to playoff time, and especially when it gets to championship weekends. It's just an absolute blast. I would like to say that I'll challenge our 5A schools, show up and support your teams. I mean, I'm so tired of having it's terrible turnout. It's just terrible turnout for 5A schools. It just is.
Well, and it's when like last couple of years, it's been McGinnis and Carver, and those aren't communities, so they don't have communities. When Guthrie's there, when Lot MacArthur's there, when Chickashay's there, when Altus is there, when Durant is there, communities they fill it up. But
if McAllister and Collinsville somehow upset McGinnis and CA, then the stands will be packed. They'll have all 2,500 tickets will be sold on each side. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yeah,
it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Well, we're going to get out of here.
All right, man.
All right. Big thank you again.
Another good show.
Yeah, so far. We'll see. All of our great thank you to all of our wonderful sponsors as well, including our title sponsor, once again, Generations Church. Love God, love people, serve both well. Find them online at generationsguthrie.com. Also find them on Facebook where they stream their Sunday morning services. Check it all out. Big thank you to them. For Phil Nichols, I'm Chris Evans. This has been the High School Huddle.
This has been the High School Huddle on Hot 93.7 FM. Be sure to tune in next week as we break down more of the top games and news from across the state of Oklahoma.